I'm going to start off by saying a quote from Bill Hicks. The world is like a ride in an amusement park. When you choose to go on that ride, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round, and it's got thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. But some people have been on that ride for a long time, begin to question, is this real? Or is it just a ride? And other people remember. This is what the awakening was in December 21st, 2012, the remembering, the connection to the souls and the spirits of the earth, connection to God. Come back to us and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever. Life is just a ride. It's a journey towards the light. I say be like a tree. Reach for the light your entire life. I say be like water. Water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, two molecules that the eye cannot see. But when they come together, there's oceans of life-giving energy, the most powerful substance in the world. And don't let the globalists fool you. Without water in your gas tank, your car won't run. You have to have water. Power of the atom is so powerful, and they've held this technology from us. The power of energy, the free energy that floats around us. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He says, we have to have a depopulation. There's too many people on this planet. Of course, he was an ex-police officer. And I said, I totally disagree with you. When you explore Tesla technology, and you really understand it, and you really understand that there's free energy, and it's free floating all around, we could have 60 billion people on this planet, 100 billion people on this planet. Depopulation is it's a fictional illusion that makes people hate one another. It separates the masses. It's kind of like racism. They use every tool, the prostituting, lying, paid liars of the media that are owned by the globalists and the people who are separated from God. People who got off this ride and said, you know something? Life is a ride, and we're going to control the minds of the people. And that's what you have. You have master controllers that are trying to shut up God, kill God in your life, from the education systems to our doctors, to our dentists, to our hospitals, everything in your life. Your religions is designed to keep you quiet. Because if you get off that ride and you're no longer living in the world of hate and fear, well, they kill those people. Kind of like what Bill Hicks said. Shut him up. We got a lot of money invested in this ride. Everything in your life has been a lie. And I'm going to talk about Obamacare today. Let me give you the real definition of what Obamacare is. I don't care what these politicians tell you. I don't care what the media tells you. You could even have a politician up there screaming, we don't like Obama. Tell you what they're trying to do. You see Goldman Sachs got a big cut. Goldman Sachs is the puppet boy, Obama. They got a big cut of the globalist money in the hospitals in America. That's what this is all about. It's about chemtrails. It's about fracking your water. It's about water control, poisoning your food, profiting from people being sick and dying. That's what it's all about. So when this HR 2977 thing went through Congress, the elected officials of Congress, the ones that are paid liars also, most of them, not all of them, but the unconscious ones that are in Congress will allow you to spray and to experiment on the weather. And we'll go ahead and sign you this document, but I believe that you're going to be doing something different. What if you were to put some chemicals in that spray? What if it would have made people sick? You know, aluminum doesn't do well in the body. We found out this through the dental industry and fluoride. And you know something Congress said, you know, we're aware of this fluoride thing and how you poison people. And we could actually sue you, Mr. Rothschild and Rockefeller and IG Farben Corporation. I'll tell you what, we're just going to keep quiet and we're going to keep this secret away from the masses. And we're just going to, we want you to allow us to launch through Goldman Sachs Investments a forced medical program that allows us to make decisions whether people live or die. Because if they're rich, they'll stay in the hospital for quite a long time. If you're poor, we just kill them. And that is exactly the description of Obamacare. Your politicians are sitting there screaming and they're hating it because their cronies, their investors, They want a piece of this Obamacare, and they want a separate. They want freedom. They don't want you to just be exclusive to Obamacare. They want to get their cut of the hospitals and the insurances and the deaths and the sucking people dry of all their money in America. And so that's why your politicians are screaming louder and louder every day about Obamacare, because their cronies, their criminal friends on Wall Street didn't get a cut, and they're being left out. And then now they're going to elect a new administration. They're going to invest their money to get their crony in there, their puppeteer, so that they can collapse Obamacare and they can get a cut. All the root, and here's their philosophy: poison the people, poison the minds, keep them dumb so that they don't awaken. Because if they awaken, they're going to lynch us. They're going to lynch every one of us. There's 6 billion people on this planet. That's why they're always at war. They've got to keep the population down because 6 billion people threaten them. And not only that, awakened people threaten them. People like Bill Hicks, Elvis Presley singing gospel music, Michael Jackson singing "Doesn't Matter If You're Black or White." This is a threat to their agendas. Martin Luther King saying, hey, don't go to Vietnam. JFK saying, no, I don't want to go to Vietnam either. And trying to expose the criminal cartel that's here in America, the European laws that keep being passed, forcing people to take health care. A law. Just remember, everything Hitler did was legal. When they lynched Jesus Christ, they convinced the people that he was practicing a religion outside of the Roman Catholicism religion, the dictator religion. Now we're moving to a religion of multi-gods and demigods. I mean, all you got to do is turn on Hollywood and you can see the demigod religion of the eternal dead vampires. The first Michael Jackson video that the Illuminati talked him into doing, as they talked him into changing his face and his appearance, they made him look like, what is that, King Tut or something like that? One of those gods that they worship, kind of like King Solomon and all the worship of Saturn and Satanism. That's what they do. See, they're so disconnected from God because of their money that they have to worship Satan. Anyone that has a ton of money, they've got two choices: fear or love. What is war? War is fear. You want to live in the world of fear? That's the world of Satanism. You want to live in the world of love? That's the world of God. You can even cut your body in half. You know that saw table where they cut people in half? Well, you can either live in the lower chakra, which is the dark side, or you can live in the light, which is the heart and the mind and the left and the right hemisphere of the brain working in harmony. This is the people that they want dead. These are the people that they want blacklisted in corporations, because right now in America, every corporation, I don't care if you cut grass, you're still buying your products from the globalist corporations in order to cut your grass. You're buying the fuel from the oil companies. Everything, they've got it to where everything you do in America, especially a house payment, is serving the kings and giving gifts to the kings. Everything. So what do we do in America? We don't sign up for Obamacare, that's for sure. We don't shop at their grocery stores. We grow our own food. Our government, our militaries, if those planes are spraying us with chemicals, to shoot them down. These are your children that you're trying to save. Sitting back doing nothing is not going to help you do anything. People are, oh, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to speak out. Well, so what? What was Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ was the sacrifice of a man who was not afraid to speak out. He had no fear. He didn't live in the world of fear. He lived in the world of the heart and the mind. What do? We emulate Jesus. What do? We emulate the tree of life. What is the medical industry? A serpent strangling the tree of life. What is the tree of life in a human being? We're a tree. We have a chakra. You know that Washington Monument? That's the chakra. They know what it is. You know the staff that the Pope has and sitting on his golden throne praying for poor people, pretending he's trying to save a nation while he's got billions of dollars he's trying to manage and the people starving to death and being murdered. Why don't we take all this money that we spend on defense and feed the hungry? Well, I say first, we need to take back our country. So we got to turn our automotive manufacturers, instead of the globalists trying to sue GM or discredit them with their medias, we need to support everything that's built in America. The profits of the car companies, if they don't stay in America, then they cannot build cars here. We've got to separate our borders, protect our borders, because the globalists are invading our country. the bankers, the oil tycoons, Rothschild, Rockefeller. This is what chemtrails are. This is what Obamacare is. Rockefeller bought IG Farben, Hitler's eugenics. And he's been eugenicking us for years. Cancer has been injected into you when you were a kid. Your teeth not growing back was injected into you as a child. The dental industry has got the serpent strangling the tree of life with the ring of Saturn in a pyramid. And we all know that they've been feeding us fluoride, which is rat poisoning, sodium fluoride, same thing that's on the label of rat poisoning. You see, that's why they want you dumb. They don't want you to connect the dots. Critical thinkers can see the real picture. You don't think I can see that Obama was put in through Goldman Sachs? Goldman Sachs got their hands in all kind of investments. That's why Obama is so tyrannical. Bush was tyrannical, but he was elected by the oil company. So it was just oil company tyrannical, which is banking. That's what oil is. It's banks. It's money. It's petrodollar. It's fiat currency. It's the same thing. And this crap about Russia attacking us? Wake up. Rothschild owns investments of oil companies in Russia. They're in cahoots. They're business partners. What you have is a business partner threatened to attack the same business partner as the United States. Rothschild owns the United States. He owns the United Kingdom. He owns Russia. He owns China. He's got them so far in debt. And yes, China is in debt. They're building infrastructure. Cities being built. And there's nobody living in them. They've got literally the city of Metropolis. They've got technology and buildings that are far superior than America. Well, what is Obamacare? It's a slow kill. Guys, there's no profit in killing somebody quickly. You've got to quit living in this delusional world. They can just fly and launch Agent Orange. There's no profit in Agent Orange. It costs them money. They got to take your body and bury you somewhere. But there's a profit in killing you slowly. And if you've got money, you stay in the hospital for a long time. Obamacare, there you go. If you don't have any money, their organization of hospice kicks in and they murder you with injections. Dr. Kevorkian, now controlled by the government. You're not my age, maybe some of you. Do you remember Dr. Kevorkian in the media? People actually went to him and said, ease my pain of death, I'm dying. The media, which is hospice, the investors that built this corporation of death, the media demonized him. Well, wait a minute, the people actually went to him. They lobbied, and now they gained control of all the death shots and the ease of pain of death of the cancers. They created the cancer, so they want to be able to choose who dies and who doesn't die. They created the cancer by dormanting your DNA, killing sections of your DNA. That's all cancer is. A genetically mutated human being. A human being that has a lower line of defense, the aura, the energy of the body is being depleted. What are smart meters? Smart meters are weapons on your house. What is HARP? Shooting holes in space so that the radiation can leak out and kill you. And a lot of you thinking, well, why would they do this to themselves? Well, because they have wisdom so far beyond you. They know how to filter out the nanoparticulates out of water. They invented the nanoparticulates. They invented the spray. They know what's in it. And by the way, they've been sucking water out of the Great Lakes for years and shipping it off to China. They have pure water and they have distribution of pure water. Their houses are shielded with paints and shielded materials, just like a space shuttle, from this radiation. Their offices, their buildings, their cars, all shielded. They know how to fight off radiation. You don't. What's so amazing is that it's killing Mother Earth, and they live on Mother Earth, but they might live on the dark side of the moon. You just don't know. They might have a facility in Mars. What are we launching in here in New Orleans, Louisiana? One of the largest rockets ever built to go to Mars? This is all a fictional reality, Mr. NASA. They've been to Mars many a times. They've got things in their arsenal that you have no idea. That's why they annihilated Tesla and they took over his technology and they turned it into a weapons of mass destruction energy. That's what they've done. And that's why his wife left him and his life was destroyed, because he was a conscience critical thinker. He was a genius of our time. Look at Henry Ford, same person, independent, last independent wealthy man that didn't need the banks to create a corporation. And Vietnam took over his factory. And him and his son were just fighting over supremacy. You know, his son Etzel was a brown nose sucking up to the rich, and Henry Ford just wanted to be a farmer. He wanted to just live on the farm. Kind of reminds me of me. Let's go back to Mother Earth. Let's go back to living on the planet and living in harmony with the land. Let's quit. You want to see an alien invasion? Go on an oil well. Go visit a diamond mine of Oppenheimer. Go visit a copper mine in Utah. Go visit that, and you'll see the alien invasion that's happening on your planet today. Go visit the forests, Amazons, how they're cutting them down. You'll see an alien invasion. So if you don't believe in aliens that exist in our government, then I don't know what to tell you. Because they're not human beings. They're not conscience-minded human beings. So either they're demons or they're aliens, and I don't care what they are, but I say if we're going to depopulate the planet, let's start with them. They're the ones who raped the land. Anybody who has raped and pillaged the land needs to be taken off of this planet. In a nutshell, that's what Obamacare is. It is a Goldman Sachs corporation that has their hands in all kind of investments and making people sick with the chemtrails, and for hundreds and hundreds of years they're going to profit from us being sick. And that's the truth. And you'll see when Obama leaves that they're going to try to have a choice, another type of forced health care. These other investors are going to get a piece of the pie. That's what it is. If you want to be a demon and you want to get rich with dirty money, go ahead and invest in autism pills. There you go. You want to get rich? Forget about Yahoo. Invest in some autism pills or some dementia pills. You know that pharma corporation that makes those? Go ahead and invest in that. You'll be filthy rich in 10 years. You'll have limos and drivers. You'll have all you want. All you got to do is just pool the money, put it into that dirty investment of murdering people, and you'll be rich. And you can just roll around in the dough. When God takes you, He's going to say, no, you can't take that. You can't even take your kids because your kids are all poison brain too with the money. You poison your body and your brain. You're now a demon. Stay back on the planet and go ahead and watch Twilight movie for the rest of your life, because you're going to be a vampire for the rest of your life, eternally dead. That's why they're promoting it on TV, because they want you to be eternally dead mentally. So go ahead and invest in these pharma corporations that make these pills. I promise you. You can call me up in 10 years and say, hey, thanks for the advice, Freddie. Thanks for all this dirty money. It's there. All you got to do is do it. Pool your money together and invest in this eternal crisis. Or you can do what a conscience-minded person does, try to unite people. Let's give freedom back to this country. Let's bring this country back to God. Let's put God back in the school system so our kids aren't killing each other. I was watching a television show to where two little girls chose the apple of death, killed their best friend, plotted, they planned, and they premeditated to kill their best friend because she knew about a lesbian affair that they had. So they take her out in the woods, stab her to death. Little girls that grew up with little girls from childhood. Well, who do you blame? Do you blame you incarcerate the girls? They're demons, they're devils. No. Let's start blaming the people who are injecting these children with this DNA crushing mentality. Let's start arresting the media corporations that's killing the mind of our children. Let's start arresting the gaming industry that's kill, shoot, kill, kill, shoot, kill. Let's arrest Hollywood Illuminati. Let's arrest those that are killing the mind of your children. Let's go arrest Madonna for being a satanistic ritual vibration energy being that's feeding the minds of our kids this demonic, Katy Perry possessed alien invasion of the mind. Because this is why your children are doing this stuff. And I know the mothers. Look, the mother of the child that was murdered is eternally damaged and been crying since the day her child died. It's a complete tragedy. But the mothers of the children that murdered the little girls that are incarcerated for life. Matter of fact, they're going to get out at the age of 30. So they're incarcerated. They're crying too. Well, let me tell you why you're crying. Because you helped build the wall. You said, yes, little Johnny, we want you to go in debt and go to college and get your education. And by the way, little Johnny, take this pill of ADD. And little Johnny, go sit at the TV. I'm tired. I don't want you outside playing because you might catch a virus, because this is how the medical industry does it. Sit there and watch TV all day until the TV just completely, with that signal wavelength, that carrier frequency that overlays the vibrational energies, and it gets into your brain, says, little Johnny, go kill your best friend. Where did these girls come up with this stuff? I'll tell you where they come up with it. Our lifestyle. Let's go arrest the religions that don't stand up to the criminals. They just mold and fiddle on. Let's keep the people conformed. Everything's going to be okay. Well, you know, there was a death, and we know that they're spraying chemtrails. We know that we're poisoning the mind and the media. We know that they're killing babies like crazy with abortions and because they're promoting sex outside of marriage. Why do you think sex outside of marriage is happening in America? Because they've been promoting it since the 1920s. Now people think, oh, I'm just going to shack up and have sex, and we don't need marriage, we don't need life, we don't need anything. Now they got me convinced, because the corporation of marriage has turned into a global corporation of profit. When you get a divorce, they really make some money out of you. And the more money you have, your attorney gets you inside. And how much money do you make? That's the first question they have. Because they're going to decide how they're going to conveniently suck you dry. Both of them together, united. A united front of Satanism. Just two people satanistically burning their fires. How are we going to kill this man and destroy him? Suck him dry of all his money. What are we going to do? So they plot and they plan and they deceive and they trick. They demonize your life. They separate the family. They destroy the children. They destroy the wife. They destroy the husband. Nobody wants to get married anymore. Next thing you know, women are sleeping with women because at birth you were given all these injections to deplete your hormones. What's left? Well, I'm not getting involved in the corporation of demonic marriage, because the marriage of yesterday is not the marriage of today. It's not the marriage that it's supposed to be. You've got to understand something, people. This stuff that I'm talking about existed in the days of Christ. Jesus Christ, the crowd, was mind controlled by the people, the media, the soldiers. They were mind controlled by the police, the religions, the high priest. You can change the names, but everything's the same. And truth is the enemy of Obamacare and all their cronies. Truth is the enemy of any entity that's poisoning the minds and the bodies of the people to make profits. Just like Bill Hicks said, shut him up. There's a lot of money invested in this crime that we've committed, that we own and control the court. You know, so let's control his credit report, his work history. Let's control his criminal record, and we're going to manipulate it to where we can demonize him. So that way, if anybody wants to listen to him, we can say, well, he did this and he did this and he did this with their medias. Even though none of it's true. And I know, I've been gang stalked for over 20 years because I'm a critical thinker. I'm a person who speaks out. They know who I am. They even know the month that I was born in. You could read my zodiac sign and it describes me perfectly. If you know self and you find self and you live in the heart and the mind, then the zodiac describes you exactly. Now, if you live in the lower chakra, your zodiac doesn't describe you because you're not even you. You're not yourself. You're somebody else. You're a devil-possessed being. So, of course, you're not to yourself. And you know what else they know? Your mates are decided by the opposite sign of the cross. You know the cross? You know Jesus with his arms out, standing at the cross? The cross is the alignment of your Milky Way galaxy. That's what the zodiac and the Chinese calendar and the Mayan calendar is. It is your Milky Way galaxy, and the center is the high energy of God. And we circulate around this Milky Way galaxy, going from galaxy to galaxy as the energies are pulling on our minds and our bodies. And when you're born within that energy, that's who you are. And when you live in the heart and the mind, it describes you perfectly. If you don't, it doesn't describe you. But if the heart and the mind meets another heart and the mind of the opposite sign of the cross, then you found your soulmate. They know this stuff. The Illuminati know this. They know this very well. They create a story about Jesus Christ. I truly believe in Jesus Christ. Don't get me wrong. You've got to listen to my videos. I believe that men walked this earth and they stood for God and truth. There's many of men that walk this earth and stood for God and truth. That's why you got so many cultures and so many religions. And that's what you people have to understand. You can't hate somebody because of a religion. Because Jesus was not a separatist religion. He was a religion of the stars. He was the ultimate center wisdom of the Milky Way galaxy. That's who he was. You can call him Jesus, Krishna, you can call him God, you can call him whatever you want. But he is the ultimate wisdom. The journey of life, the reaching for the sun your entire life. The tree is a perfect example of who we are and what we are. And once we understand the tree, to reach for the light your whole life, the light of truth, go watch Star Wars. The Force. What is the Force? The Force is the center of the galaxy. The Force. What happens when you're a Jedi? You have the wisdom of the Force. And you know how to use that wisdom to fight the dark side. Or you can become the dark side and fight the light. It's your choice. We have that free will. And by the way, if you don't fight for freedom, then you're not fighting for God. God is freedom. God is truth. If you're not saying, hey, media, we're sick of it and we're going to create our own media corporations because we're sick of you, you're fired, and let's go take this Ted Turner guy and we can take all his money and spread it out amongst the poor, locking up in prison, and we can take back his media corporation because he's admitted that he wants to crucify us and depopulate us. I say start with him. And by the way, Bill Gates was a relative of the Gates of the Rothschild. Go look it up. He had a Gates. Bill's the Gates Media Corporation. All this phony stuff about governments, lawsuits, and all this stuff. Look, Bill Gates was created by Rockefeller. That was everything, every investment that Rockefeller did was by the brain of Mr. Gates. I forgot his first name, but it was Rockefeller's first-hand man. It was his financial advisor. And now Bill Gates creates a media mogul giant corporation of computers and internet. Then he gets up at the TED convention and somebody's got a film in the crowd and he's admitting that the flu shots, the inoculations, what else did he call it? He called it, it's really eugenics, but let's call it reproductive means, he said. We can get the population down to around 300,000, he says. Well, he said a percentage, but I did the math. So he's going to get 6 billion from 300,000 at the TED convention. That costs about $8,000 to get in that convention. And he thought he was talking to the elite of the elite. Well, somebody had a camera and exposed him. He is a monster and he needs to be in prison. And he's been going to Africa and all these countries injecting poisons in people. When our troops go off to war, first thing they do, inoculate. Right now in America, we have 300,000 troops that are sick from Gulf War syndrome. And I'll tell you what it is. It's the mixture of depleted uranium, which is your smart meters, same thing that they're radiating. And the negative ground wires in your house is turning your house into a vibrational energy, depleting your immune system radiation. So they were exposed to radiation. Then they were exposed to inoculations. And now they're all sick. Not only are they mangled from weapons, but a lot of them are sick. Extremely sick. And you know what the doctors say with their Hippocratic oaths? What is a hypocrite? A hypocrite is a liar. Two-faced liar. He signed a Hippocratic oath to stand with I.G. Farben's, Rockefeller's, Mr. Gates' investments, stand by him and not the people. That's what a Hippocratic oath is. I'm going to lie to the people and I'm going to stand by the pharma corporations. Here, Johnny, here's a pill. Take another one. Oh, he's got ADD. Let's take another pill. It's pills of death. And you don't know what's in it. The doctor doesn't know what's in it. He doesn't know what's in the shots. He just signed a Hippocratic oath to give these people a shot, and he's just an innocent bystander. You know what the Hippocratic oath does? It gives the reliability off of Mr. Rockefeller and on to the hospitals. The hospital has to take the burden of the poisons that they create in the lab. But of course, nobody's going to take them to court because they own the courts, and they own the lawyers, they own the judges, and they own you. And they own your house, and they own your car. They've got you. You know, it's a big club, just like George Carlin said. And we're not in the big club. Oprah is not even in the big club. Tom Cruise is not in the big club. They're wanting to be in the big club. Obama is not even in the big club. He's trying to earn points to get into the big club. He's a puppet. So is Oprah. So is Tom Cruise. Puppets. Selling propaganda to the people. Conforming the minds of the children. And that's why little girls are plotting to kill their best friend. And then lie to the police. And then go to court and have no remorse whatsoever. None. Our system of raising children has been turned into a demonic possession. A system of demonic possessions. Well, I have a daughter that's in Mormonism. It is a system of demonic possessions. This is what they do. They elevate the people's mind a little bit about what to eat, what not to eat. They give you just a little taste of Rothschild Zionism. Of course, Rothschild Zionism owns the Mormon religion. They own land in Florida. They own land all over the place. Temples with golden floors and Freemasonic symbols all over it, just like the Catholic Church. Hey, I'm not a hater of the Catholic Church. I'm not a hater of Mormonism. I don't hate anything. I'm just trying to tell people to wake up. I don't even think the fathers and the priests even know what they're doing. I think most of them do. They're just brainwashed. That's my honest opinion. I think they're good people, but they're part of a very evil society, and they just don't even know it. That's what the ride is all about. Either you get off the ride and they kill you, because what happens to a priest when he wakes up and he gets off the ride? Well, he's a pedophile, and the media demonizes him. It's kind of like what happened to Michael Jackson when he sang about doesn't matter if you're black or white, or Elvis Presley when he started singing gospel music. I was alive when they demonized Elvis Presley, called him fat, lazy, out of shape, Vegas impersonator, every name in the book. He was none of the above. He was an angel of God with an angel voice. They did the same thing to Michael Jackson, an angel of God with an angel voice. And if they can't control him, and they can't control Michael or Elvis, then they'll destroy him. I love Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan. But he has been controlled by the Illuminati his whole life. He is an angel of talent. He is a genetic species that has not only gifts of the physical world, but he's got gifts of the mental world. This is what the Mormon religion does. It gives you just a taste of that. Michael Jordan never broke free of this hold of the Illuminati. He stays out of the public, out of the picture, and he just has his corporations, and he stays hidden. And he is a extremely high level Freemason. He's part of the Freemasons. He's not extremely high, but he's getting up there. So, I mean, if Rothschild had Michael Jordan's money, he'd commit suicide and shoot himself in the head. We're talking $700 trillion of gold bullion, and that's not even counting his land and his resources and his investments. I mean, this guy's got so much money, he can feed the population of the planet for like 700 years. Guys, quit listening to these lobbyists trying to steer you to another medical plan. You've got to look at the big picture and understand that controlling anything, dictating anything, is quite evil. Insurance companies, evil. Until we go back to one thing, right now, a choice between love and fear. Love means separating yourself from everything that has anything to do with evil. And right now, everything in your life, giant grocery store chains and anything that's globalized. We need free enterprise. We need people and businesses, local, community, businessmen. I went to a funeral the other day of a very good friend that owned a jewelry store. I can't believe he died at 52 of a heart attack. He was such a nice person, so pleasant. I looked at him and I would see things in him that I wish I had. He was a beautiful, beautiful man with a beautiful family. And he was a local businessman. And look, we've got to bring back our local businesses and support our communities. There were so many people at this man's funeral. It was unbelievable. We were standing in the aisles. I couldn't even get a seat. And I went to a Catholic church, and this Catholic priest had the most beautiful sermon. And I get to thinking, it's kind of like Jesus Christ. Forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're a part of. It's kind of like joining the mafia, and you just really can't see the big picture. This priest was a personal friend of my friend that died. He gave the most beautiful sermon. It was very personal. It was funny. And I believe that death should be a celebration of an opportunity for another life. So I don't believe death should be all mourning. The sermon was so well done, I can't even explain it. I was in tears, and then I was laughing at the same time. And I thought to myself, that's what a funeral should be about. Laughter and tears and just feeling the emotions, allowing this energy, this being to pass on to the light. Pray to God that when people die that you care about, that they go to the light and they don't stay behind. I'm just so sad because I'm seeing local businessmen just being fed away. So I know what it's like to be a local businessman. And when I built the pet stores, my biggest competition was Walmart. And they had horrible pet supplies, horrible pets. In fact, I used to have a guy that would go buy fish at Walmart for cheap, and then he would bring them back to me dead and claim that they died, and then he would get my good fish, and he'd save about $3. Seriously. That's how crazy and ignorant people are. I tell you, we got to get these morons off the planet. If he would have came to me and said, you know, I've been buying fish at Walmart and they're cheaper, and Fred, I'd just rather you just give me a price instead of me committing a crime. Can you just give me a $3 less discount? I would have said, yeah, no problem. Okay, don't go commit a crime. Okay. And how did I know he did that? My wife, we were walking through Walmart. This was a long time ago. And he's buying fish from Walmart when he told me that he would never buy fish from Walmart. He came into my store and he's saying, I would never buy that. That's junk. And we watching him buy a whole bags and bags of fish. I think the guy was a gang stalker. That's my honest opinion. Whenever men are successful, there is a group of very evil men that will come into their lives and destroy. They'll get to their wives. They'll get to their families. But even when I was in the pet business, they were trying to destroy me. I believe what this guy was. They stalk you. This is part of this Illuminati secret society. When you work for a corporation today, you are a low-level Freemason. You don't have a ring. They are watching you. And the more evil you do, the more backs you stab, those are the ones that become the manager. The ones who do the crimes. The ones who do the cover-ups. Not the critical thinkers and the enlightened ones. No. Those stay under control and under power. And believe you me, I worked for a Jewish guy one time, and he was a very nice man. I liked him. He had that philosophy that he knew that I was way more talented than him. They don't promote you when you're more talented than them. They see in you what they never had, and they're in a position of management, and here you are, an enlightened being, and you've got all this gifts and talents. They're not going to let you in competition with them. These are fear-mongering, egotistical men. They live in the world of fear. They want to be in power, but God didn't make them in power. God didn't give them those gifts. We've got to start allowing the men of God to rule our children and our world. By the way, men of God don't want to rule or dictate. They just want to teach. So that was a bad word, rule. If you gave control to a man of God, he wouldn't be in control. He would just teach and influence. That's all people have to do. We, as human beings, can manage ourselves. We don't need government or money system. We don't need war. We don't need anything to manage ourselves. Nothing. All we need is prophets. The real prophets of God. And it's very easy to recognize these people because the word of God flows out of their mouths. Now, the TV, if you keep watching it, you're going to think that's the word of God. And when the real word of God hits you, you live in the opposite. The upside down cross, Jesus hanging upside down. What is Jesus upside down? It is the opposite of reality. That's what Satanism is. The opposite, that's one of the definitions of Satanism, but it is the opposite of reality. There was a Jerry Seinfeld. You know, Jerry's a very Jewish man, by the way, linked to the family line, bloodline of these banker Jews. And he did a TV show where George did the opposite. Watch it. It's called The Opposite. I've never seen Satanism. I don't know what is. Watch the show. It's very funny. It's hilarious. But it is a very secret Freemasonic message that the opposite of everything that's in your life is reality. And even George said one time, all the impulses, he was saying, all the urges that I had to do, if I just can do the opposite, then all of a sudden my life just comes together. What am I telling you about Obamacare? I'm telling you to believe the opposite of what every politician and every person in power, every dictator is telling you today. You don't need a evil group of pill pushing, injecting children with poison, controlling your lives. There is a natural form of healing. The shaman knew about it, and we need to go back to that realm. And there's good doctors out there that they know this natural healing, and we need to start taking our children to them and saying no as one giant conscience to this Obamacare, because it is nothing but a system of a mind-altering monster that's going to control the mind of our children, and our children are not going to know that they even have a choice. That's why they want people like me dead, because I'm giving you a choice of freedom, and they don't want you to have a choice of freedom. They want you to have only one choice. That's dictatorship, and your second choice is dictatorship. That's it. Now, they'll give you choices like Republican and Democrats. It's dictatorship and dictatorship. You think you have choices, but you have no choices. It's kind of like the elections. You've got Banker Corporation Incorporated, and then you got Banker Incorporated. Wall Street cronies. All circulates through the monsters of Rothschild and Rockefeller. You have no choice until you say none of the above. We don't want a president. I don't want a president. And I don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't want Jesse Ventura. Like they're going to come in like they're superheroes and they're going to fictionally save the planet. Well, they're banker puppets. When Jesse Ventura talked about chemtrails, I knew instantly he gave up his secrets. And there's a lot of people on this planet that their lives are being gang stalked because Jesse Ventura was a name collector for the kill list of Obama. And all we got to do is go to war. Once we go to World War III, let's say Russia attacks us or bombs us, and they convince through the medias for us to go kill people. Once that happens, then people like me are dead, if they don't kill us first. So once you're awake in conscience, you're the enemy of the states, you're enemy of the politicians, you're an enemy of Congress, enemy of the president. But guess what? You're not really the enemy because you're trying to awaken the people. I wouldn't hurt a flea. I believe that the only way, there's only one way to defeat these people, and that's a united consciousness. And that's exactly what Jesus did. He tried to unite consciousness, and they killed him. So united consciousness, that means 6 billion people working in harmony against the 1% of the population that are completely psychopathic. I would say now it's up to about 4%. And they're growing. And they're getting stronger and stronger, and we're getting weaker and weaker every day. What are you going to do? You're going to wait till you got no food and water to consciously unite? Well, by then it's too late. You don't have food and water. How are you going to unite without food and water? So go ahead and stand with your gun, but they're going to take it away with the food and the water. If you don't see the water control system of oil and fracking and chemtrails, smart meters, what do you think the smart meters are doing to the water? They're radiating my house so bad that I can take a fruit out of the refrigerator, brand new fruit, take it out of the refrigerator, and that fruit will turn into a toxic poison within hours. It'll get mold and mildew on it. What is your refrigerator? It's a box that's protecting the fruit from the radiation. So as soon as you take it out, I don't care how old it is, it instantly just wilts. And that's proof that you have radiation in your home. Also, all my electronic devices are failing. Batteries are dying. The starters on your cars and your ignitions. I've replaced 7 lawnmower ignition starters on my lawnmowers. I have 3 lawnmowers. And 7 times I had to replace batteries and ignition. And I got a buddy that works for Cleco Power. I'm saying, look what's happening. Look at the fruit. Look at the ignition systems. Look at the lawsuit with GM. Can't you put the pieces together and understand that your house is a radiation pumping device? Right now I got radiation pumping through my body while I'm doing this video. I'm very aware of it. It's very real. But I choose to crucify myself and not run to the mountains, try to teach people and awaken conscience people. This is my life choice. And if I've got to sacrifice my life for your children, as you're a cowardly won't do it, while you're lining up to sign up for some free stuff like Obamacare, while you're conforming to the bankers' agendas, good luck with that. God bless. I love you all.